Welcome to Myers Metal Detectors, located in sunny Tampa, Florida, where we sell nothing but fun and adventures, treasure hunting gear, and anything you can imagine for metal detecting. Give us a call, 813-237-1939. Happy hunting and dig deeper.
Live from sunny Florida, it's Treasure Talk.
Whoa, just sat down just in time.
You just bunked it.
Hey, well, welcome, folks. Welcome to another exciting edition of Treasure Talk.
And it's definitely going to be.
Yes, and we've got an awesome speaker, so let me get started. Of course, today's show is brought to you by your friends at Myers Metal Detectors, where we not sell, I am messed up tonight, where we not only sell fun, but we sell adventure. And of course, the views, thoughts, opinions expressed here by the Treasure Talk member and guest belong solely to the member and guests and not necessarily to Phil Myers, Jocelyn Myers, Myers Metal Detectors, or Jeff Monin. And the most important thing is the purpose of Treasure Talk is to promote the hobby of metal detecting and treasure hunting and to educate our members in a fun, informative manner. And that's what we strive to do every week. And that's what we're doing today, right, Jeff?
I believe we will. I do believe we will. So let's hope we don't have any gremlins in the woodwork tonight. Other than Phil's palaver, I think he's excited about our guest tonight, I think.
Oh, yes. I was actually running out in the other room trying to get all the house phones because we actually still have a landline, and I don't want those ringing while our show is going on.
That's something I do not have anymore. Haven't had for, I don't know, quite a long time.
Yes, well, I guess we're just old, Jeff, and we like our landline still for some reason.
You know,
only people who call me are spam risks, so I don't know why we have it.
Well, it's just a habit, you know.
Yes, it is. It surely is.
So,
and I just pulled us up so I could see us on YouTube. And boy, we got a lot of people on there already. This guest must be awesome.
Well, I've heard stories about him, so
I've read books from him.
Yeah, he's famous and he's infamous.
Yeah, he's infamous. Well, let me do a real quick public service announcement. One, the Tampa Metal Detecting Club meets tomorrow night. And if you're on Facebook or the internet, their website address is wsas.club. So they meet tomorrow night. And then also, if you use a blue Nemo Nomad, just a Nomad, not the Nemo, they had a recall on those. So be sure to contact the manufacturer on the Nomad because they had a little bit of issues with that. So they want to check it out and make sure everything's working perfectly.
Yeah, that is definitely something they want to get checked out, I think.
Yes, absolutely. Not the Nemo, the Nomad. So if you own a Nomad, be sure to have them check that out.
Well, we got a comment from Big Poppy here. He says, have another unholy, Phil. Now, you want to explain that one?
An unholy is I guess it's a triple beer or something. It's manufactured here in the state of Florida. But it's a very potent. If you have one unholy, it'll probably put you to sleep.
So well, I know Jocelyn won't let you have one of those.
Yeah, she doesn't want me falling asleep, especially not on the show.
Right. Or any other time. You know.
Oh, and before we get started, just a reminder, folks, Jocelyn is on YouTube too, along with Jeff, and because I can't read the comments that quick, so hopefully Jeff or Jocelyn can read it. If you have a question, be sure to just type it in. We'll try to ask the guest the question.
That's right. And we are not having unholies. I promise you, this is agua, not an unholy.
I don't have any agua, so maybe if we do a commercial break, I'll get some water.
We will. We will. So I think we ought to just get right into it tonight, don't you?
Absolutely.
And we've got a lot of people in the chat, and welcome everybody with our special guest tonight. And I think everybody's very anxious to find out what's been going on down on the Treasure Coast. And we're going to find that out tonight. And he is a legend, without a doubt. And He's been with us before, and everybody's always asked me, when's he coming back? When's he coming back? Tonight's the night. Mel Fisher said today is the day. Treasure Talk says tonight's the night.
Tonight's the night.
That's right. So let's bring on our legend, Terry Shannon from the Treasure Coast. Hello, Terry.
Hey, how are you, Jeff and Phil?
We're doing great here. Everybody's asking me all the time, hey, how's the Treasure Coast doing? So I figured you would be able to answer that better than anybody.
Yeah, the Treasure Coast is a real mess out there. I mean, it moved an awful lot of sand. There's banks that are probably twice as high as I am, or cuts that are way back into the dunes.
It cut way into the dunes, so some of the coins could have been in the dunes, and now you're able to get to them if you're fortunate enough.
That's right. You gotta be lucky, but it's going to open up. It took all that renourishment sand out, but the problem is it just took it out and laid it out in the water, and it's still there, and it's going to start washing back in. I was actually out on the beach the night before the hurricane hit, and at low tide, the waves were hitting the dunes at low tide. But at high tide, it was just unreal. And of course, I got back out after the hurricane, as soon as I could get back out there. And the same thing, the waves were hitting the dunes all till about 2:00. And then about 2:00, it settled down, and the waves are only coming up about halfway up the beach. But boy, I've been digging steady. I've dug an awful lot of coins. Nothing really good, but lots of digging.
Lots of digging, but it's lots of modern coins. Is that what you're digging? You dig any?
Yeah, I got a mercury today, and I got one silver dime the other day. But it's dangerous out there. It bothers me because there's a lot of people out there. I was at one of the popular beaches. I just stopped to check it out. I think it was yesterday, and there's kids out there swimming, and there's just all kinds of plank and stuff like that in the water. They should just. Well, maybe it's better now, but a friend of mine, he ended up stepping on a nail, had to go to urgent care. And then there was an old fellow, Marine actually, and he got hit by a plank, washed in by a wave. And, at first he thought his leg was broke. He was bleeding pretty bad, but he was going to be okay. And I got hit by, came from behind me. I was always watching the water, but the wave washed in, and then it washed like a part of a palm tree back out. But it didn't hurt me at all. It just bounced off.
Yeah, I guess all the
Stuff in the water.
Yeah, all that debris you got to be careful of.
Well,
Yeah.
you saw what happened in Daytona with houses falling in, and people's swimming pools, completely washed away underneath. I mean, Daytona lost. It was south of Daytona, the Daytona shores. But just think of all that debris, and it will make its way down there, Terry, depending on where the wind's coming from.
That's true. This stuff moves and all. And I was listening to the news tonight. They talked about the damage that was it Iran, the first hurricane caused.
Ian.
They give Ian. Yeah, that's right. And they say that Nicole now did more damage to Daytona Beach, more dollar damage than Ian did for the whole state of Florida.
Yeah. I think it just caught it right with the current and and the way that was coming in. Of course, I think Ian really set it up good too.
Yeah, it did. It just it was in poor shape when Nicole came up. When it hit, and it just it's just sad. These people have lost a lot.
It is. It's just, for those poor people down there, you never think that it's going to come in and because how many other big hurricanes have hit and they haven't, they've had some damage, but they had nothing like this. And then you get some little tropical storm come in. Basically, that's all it was. And look at what happened. You just never know.
Yeah. My wife and I, we have a home in Minnesota. I tell everybody I'm married to, crazy girl. We have crazy kids. That's my home. But we live in a trailer house down here. We bought a trailer home. And, I'm a pilot, but I don't think you can fly a trailer house. It just, So we spent the night with
In the
friends.
right conditions. If there's a twister, you might fire your trailer house.
A couple of years ago, during a storm like that, a twister came right up our street and took everybody on the north side of the street, took their porches off. And my neighbors on each side had quite a bit of damage, and I had none. I mean, I'm one of the luckiest guys that ever walked faces earth. Really
Good living.
I tell my friends, I said it's clean living, and I get quite a reaction on that because they know the truth.
Well, Terry, I think that the storm is going to create more opportunities for you this winter then.
Oh, there's no question about it. It one scoop down, anywhere from the dunes back 10, 15 feet, you're down into the orange sand, and that's your original beach. So there's going to be some good stuff out. It was just unreal right after the hurricane. I didn't go south. That's where I'd like to detect the south. I live right on Melbourne Beach, and I talked to people down there. First off, they closed all the beaches down there. The only one that was open was Seagrave. They're open now, I believe, but there was over 100 people waiting to get out on the beach, is what I was told. And the second day, just to avoid the crowds, I went out right in front of my house here. This is where I found my first Spanish coin. The very first Spanish coin I ever found was right out in front of the trailer park here. It's a Spanish 2 real. And so I went out there. I bet you I had 15 people with detectors pass me. I'm going pretty slow and working up against the bank. And this one guy would run to get ahead of me, and he was not filling his holes. And it just made me angry. There's always got to be one.
There's always one. There indeed. And we had that when we were down on Daytona. I related this story before. I'm just, Mumbles Man and I were down there, and we're out and we're hunting. So this woman comes sashaying up, and she says, "You from around here?" I said, "No." I said, "We come down here a lot." She goes, "Well, obviously you don't know about the etiquette we have down here." I said, "What are you talking about?" She said, "You always got to fill your holes in." I said, "So what you're doing is you're coming up to me, you don't know me, and you're accusing me of not filling my holes in." She goes, "Well, there's certain beach etiquette we have down here." I said, "You know what, lady, you need just to hush it up and move on down the road, because it was not me. I always fill my holes in regardless, but we know Tim and I both knew and saw the guy that does this. He does not fill his holes in, and there's a number of those people that do that, and it is irritating, because one boat could make it bad for everybody.
I was on the beaches years ago, and it detected. It was one of the, I think it was Ponceville or someplace like that. And the guy come out and he said, "I want to shake your hand." And I gladly, and I shook his hand, and he says, "You fill your holes." I mean, so people notice. I mean, it's a good
job. All the time it asked me, he says, "Well, how come you're just filling your hole in?" Even down in the surf line. 99% of the time you really don't have to if the surf is coming in. But he said, "Well, how come you're filling your hole up?" Then the other people fill their holes in. I said, "That's the right thing to do." I said, "You've got kids up there." I said, "And they're running and playing on the beach." I said, "I certainly wouldn't want them to step into a hole that I left and twist their ankle or break their leg or whatever." I said, "That would be, that's not good." So that's the reason why we do it. Plus, it's the right thing to do.
Yeah,
absolutely. And it only takes a second to fill that hole. Especially if you're in the sand, just take your foot to swipe it and fill it right back in real quick. So people should just do that. Take their trash and fill their holes. Kind of the rule.
I understand. A lot of people don't.
Yeah.
So what's going on in the land of the books, Tara?
Okay. I've had the book finished for quite some time now. It's Metal Detecting for Beginners. And I have a couple of friends that really helped me with these books. I met my wife when I had English in high school, and I missed the whole thing, and it's her fault. But I also have a fellow by the name, he's an author, and he's the fellow that encouraged me to write that first book. He's a great guy, and he formats a book. I mean, they have to be formatted. He's so excited about this book that he adds things to it, and I can't. And so the book should have been out. It's done, but he still has it. And he wants to, I actually put in there that he's having some comments to add to the book. But it's going to be. I'm excited about it. It's a good book.
Well, let me know when you get it out because we'll carry it in the store, of course. And for folks who come in the shop, I do have them in stock. These are the most popular ones, of course. And I'm sure the new one's going to be popular too. We have them, and I always get Terry to sign them, so they're signed copies when they purchase them. It's
You
just,
can't beat that.
yes, and people just love them, so they come in and pick them up. So we've got them in stock. Are we giving out any prizes tonight?
Oh, of course we are.
Okay, well, cool. If
Of
they don't, you can come in the shop and get it. They can purchase it. And it's worth the money for sure.
Oh, it's definitely worth the money. You won't find a better read out there. I will tell you that right now.
Yes.
I've had so much fun writing those books. I mean, I enjoy it. I really get a kick out of it.
Yeah.
But I've got a couple of stories in this new book. There was a young man last year that we took detecting, and he was diagnosed with leukemia, I believe it was. And Minnesota had like a Make-A-Wish Foundation, and he wanted to come to the Treasure Coast to detect. And I went detecting with him, and he went and visited the Mel Fisher Museum. They spent a day, and I took him detecting, and I wrote the story with his mom's blessing. In fact, she helped me do it about him and his detective adventures, and it's just going to be a great book. It really is. So
I can't wait for it.
And what was the title again, Terry?
it's metal detecting for beginners.
Metal detecting for beginners. That should be a hot seller for sure because this hobby has gotten increasingly popular. So it's an awesome book.
Well, yeah, because Terry and I were talking earlier about he saw so many people out after the hurricane, obviously, out there, it just covered up with detectorists and, up in Clearwater, Phil. I mean, every time you go up there, there's got to be at least 10 to 12 up at Clearwater Beach.
Yes.
And we see them all the time when I'm down in Tampa. I mean, it's blown up,
Yeah, for sure.
And the true treasure in metal detecting is the exercise. I'm 81 years old. I'm on no medication. I can walk all day long, and it's because I metal detect. It's the exercise out there, and I met so many friends. I had a neat thing happen a couple of days ago. A young kid came up to me and he said, "Can I go metal detecting with you?" And you can't say no. So I said, "Sure." And I've got the DS2, and I come over a kind of a big piece of iron. So I thought it'd be fun for him to dig that up. And I said, "There's a target right here." And so, boy, he's got one of these little hand scoops. He's down there digging away. And I walked over and he looked away. I dropped a couple pennies in there. They're real crusty pennies that I picked up earlier. And he seen these pennies, and my gosh, he got excited. See, and I showed them to me, and he said, and I told him, I said, when they look like that, they've been lost a long time, see. And then I run my detector over, and I said, there's still something in that hole. And I had to help him dig it up, but it was an encrusted wrench. So he had 2 pennies in this wrench, and he took off at a dead run to show mom and dad. I mean, it just...
Yeah, kids love it for sure. And I was just reading on the comments, Jeff, that Big Lee Tibbs, he said there was 18 people on Clearwater Beach hunting yesterday.
I have no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
I usually don't hunt the beaches when they're packed with people, and I wouldn't want to hunt on. I'd want to hunt on Monday or Tuesday rather than Sunday. For sure.
I haven't gone down to the Treasure Coast for that reason. There's too many people down there. And so I haven't gone, when I say Treasure Coast, south of Melbourne, I just haven't gone very far south. But I'm going to. I'm just waiting for the crew to think.
Yeah, and I guess you're going to be watching I know you told me you watched the tides and the moon, full moon, and the extreme.
Well, see what's happened now. This hurricane, Nicole, come right during the full moon. So we had the big tides, and actually it was high tide when the hurricane hit this area. And so it just really tore up the dunes like that. But every day after that, the tides recede a little bit. And so you have virtually a 2-week window to hunt high, before it's come up that high again and start filling the thing in. So you've got, I mean, right now, this is a wonderful opportunity. A couple of years ago, Jerry, we had the same situation, only it wasn't a hurricane. And we found 5 8 reals laying right on top of the fan. When they come up, about every 10th wave, you get that really big one, a surge. And I think that they just washed those coins up and the one I found had to come out of the dunes because it was just beautiful. And, that's the first I figured it out. And I had 2 weeks where I just hunted high for 2 solid weeks, until the tides come back up there again.
Yeah, and sometimes there's stuff buried in those dunes that they never get hunted, and they've been buried there a long time, and you get to take a little sand off there, and there may be some goodies there for you too.
Oh, no question about it. And when it hits the dunes, if you look down, you look a long ways away, look for the low spots. When I found those 2 Carlos and Juana coins, 1,500 coins, that was about 20 feet down from the dunes, but it was a low area, and I hunted it for 3 solid days. In fact, I got the coins, 1,500 coins on day 2.
Now, when you're down there hunting, when you were hunting those, were there many people hunting with you, or you by yourself?
I was all by myself. When I found the first one, I called my friend Jerry, and I said, I think I found a rail, but I'm not sure. And he come down and looked at it. Neither one of us had seen that coin. It's a different coin. Different than 1615.
Do you hunt it at night or in the dark?
Not very often. It's kind of spooky out there. I'm a little paranoid anyway. I've got a law enforcement background, and so I'm a little paranoid. And when the moon is out, I never take a light because I just assume nobody knew I was out there. And these ghost crabs will come running by, and they always just scare the bejesus out of me. I'm in no danger of stepping on one because I'm 2 feet in the air. It's just.
Well, you know what, Philip? I think it's probably about a time for a word from our sponsor. What do you think?
That works for me, for sure.
Okay.
I can get a drink of water.
Yeah, that's right. You do. That's right. You do. Let's hear is a word from our sponsor.
Hey friends, Phil Myers here from Myers Metal Detectors. And it's not too soon, is it, for Christmas? I know it's not even Thanksgiving yet, but all the manufacturers are rolling in their specials. Last week we talked about the Coil Tech specials that they throw in with their coils. And this week, I just wanted to show you one I just got today with the MindLab Equinox 800. They're going to throw in an 8-inch coil. So it's an excellent coil that's normally $179. So excellent value thrown in for Christmas. So if you have any questions on metal detectors and metal detecting equipment, just feel free to give me a call, because a lot of these specials take a little while to get onto my website. And of course, my wife is in the background whispering, you probably hear this. We include our free calendar with all the purchases, and you're just going to love the shop. So if you can come in the store, check us out, do that. If not, give me a call on the phone. And we also have books. These are Terry Shannon's books, and he's going to be on our Facebook live feed probably next week. So give me a call, 813-237-1939. My website is MyersDepot.com. Boy, I have so many different websites, it's kind of hard to keep them all straight. And of course, on eBay, we're Metal Detector Guru. So check us out. Happy hunting and dig deeper. Boy, that guy's handsome.
Yeah, he's
those small coils, they're something you should have in your arsenal. No question about it.
Absolutely. The small coils for relic hunting, or if you have any health issues and you still want to detect, the small coil, of course, is going to be lighter and easier to swing. You maybe could hunt a little longer.
Years ago, I had a MindLab, the Excalibur, that had a 10-inch coil, and I was detecting in the river. I found a ring and I went to change. I made a small coil for my sovereign at that time, went back 2 days later and pulled out 11 rings out of that same spot. because that small coil is able to get down among the rocks and that stuff.
Remember.
Always have you know, and on the beach even, there's areas where they, especially up by the airbase net, where they, haul in all the scrap, fill up the dunes, it's full of iron and that stuff. You want to detect near that stuff, the small coil works best.
Yeah, Phil, we had a question from a Big League Tibbs. He wants is that the 6 or the 8-inch coil? I think it's a 6, isn't it?
That's a 6-inch coil for the Equinox.
Right.
And Justin just told me that too. But if he wants a bigger coil than that, of course we have the 5x10, the Coil Tech, and they get the Coil Tech promo package. So they got some choices for Christmas.
Yeah. And also, Terry, we're going to mention, I don't know if you've used this program on the dais too, because I know you, like you said, you used to swing the Excalibur. You also used to swing that old Sovereign.
Yes.
And
I'm
what
still
you
in love
might
with it.
really like is just go, it's the third beach program on the dais too. B, that gives you the pitch tones in it, and that sounds, just like a Sovereign or an Excalibur.
Yeah, it sounds very similar. It sure does. And it's real zippy. I don't know if
Yeah.
you tried that program. What program are you using, Terry?
Just Beach One is what I'm using right now. And
Right.
I had a friend kind of set it up for me. He set it up and it's working fine, so I just haven't changed it. But I had a friend make a kind of a real hot coil for up north when I'm back there in the woods, looking for that, the airplane.
Yeah,
Well,
I used the Beach P, and I just like those sounds, and I think it would work excellent there in the Treasure Coast too.
Yeah.
If anybody,
I really like it. I really do, because you can adjust your your reactivity and go deeper, whatever, in your salt salinity with that Beach P program. Boy, when you hit a target, boy, it sings it just like the old Excalibur did, and the Sovereign did the same thing. You knew, because I remember you wrote it in one of your books, Terry. You said you swing fast and you walk fast. But boy, when you're going along with that Sovereign and you hit a target that was a good target, you knew it right away. And you'll know it with the Beach P program in the dais.
Yeah. Well, I tell you right now, yesterday, I think it was yesterday, no, day before yesterday, I dug 104 coins, and I didn't start till 1 o'clock.
That was coffee money
104.
and a donut.
Yeah.
You could
Boy, there's nothing
donut.
better than an ex cop without a donut there. I got to tell you a story. Yesterday, beach accesses have been problems. They got them open down south. Patrick's Air Force Base up there is closed up that whole area. And I went up there, and I actually thought I was south of the base. And area beach access was closed, so I parked across the street, walked over, the highway, got down to the beach, and there was about a 5 or 6 foot drop. And I figured, well, that ain't too bad. I can dig my way out. So I jump in. I walked around this big bush. It's sea grapes, I think it is, and there was about a 2 foot drop. I could have just stepped down rather than leaped.
Usually the one I walk around is Cabernet grapes, but
well, I know that now you're in Melbourne there, so you go to Bonsteel Park.
Bonsteel, yes, Bonsteel and Ponce. Ponce used to be my favorite, and still is one of my favorite parks. I've done well there. I found Spanish. I got that silver shoe buckle there. I got that posy ring from the 1600s. You can find stuff all along. I think the stuff gets washed up and down. I don't think the area is nearly as important as the condition. You look for that low spot. I mean, there's guys that spend a lot of time look at the maps, right where the wrecks are located and stuff. Well, you can find things all along the beach. It's scattered all along. The conditions are the key.
Right. Now you're using the 11-inch coil on your dais?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
And actually, the last couple of days, I was thinking about going back to the smaller coil because there's so many coins on the beach that it would be nice to have, just be able to sort them out. And I always preach, dig everything. Well, after this hurricane, you just can't. You got to, there's just too much stuff there.
Yeah,
much.
there's too much, too much trash in there, pieces of aluminum and
Exactly. Yeah.
stuff that's going to ring up good that you can't ignore it. So possibly the 9-inch coil might be just the thing in these type of conditions because it's plenty deep. Like you say, Terry, you're down, one scoop from the orange sand. So I think the 9-inch coil will probably be plenty deep.
Yeah, you're right down into the orange sand, and some of that stuff is that crusty orange sand, a real deep, so it's old. You can pull up some stuff. I had an interesting thing happen to me about 3 weeks ago. I found an old British penny. It's it's kind of in tough shape, but I was able to date it at early 1800s, and they quit making it in 1905. And I'm doing a little history. They used to have what they call like salvage camps or rescue camps along the beach. But what they did is they actually built homes spaced out along the treasure coast here for survivors. And they put a civilian in there with a family, and then they had the upstairs room for 20 people to sleep. They had cots and medicine and food and all that stuff. And I'd never heard that. I've been down here for 20 years and never heard about that. They've had these homes spaced out for ship survivors.
Hmm.
Had you ever heard about that?
For salvage or
No. What they did is there was a shipwreck and they found a couple of guys that were just about dead. They couldn't flag down any other ships. They were eating their rotten fish to try to survive, and so they just started building these homes, great big homes, and they put a family in there. And their job after a storm was to walk the beach and look for survivors. But the top attic of the home was a barracks, and they had 20 cots in these things and spare food and that. And that started in the early 1800s and was done by about 1915. But this was,
I never knew that. That's
yeah,
interesting.
it's
Very
really interesting. I sent out an answer.
hey, we had a question on the YouTube there from Pink Power Alley, and she's asking what are your thoughts on that day too on the beach?
I'm liking it. I really am. I love the equinox. I love the sovereigns and the days too. It's serving me really well, very well. Like a couple days ago, I had like 15 guys ahead of me, and I dug a heck of points that they missed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I found that absolutely true with the Deus too. It just doesn't miss stuff,
Yeah.
and it's even in just if the coil doesn't even have to go over it, if it's only maybe 1 or 2 inches from the coil, you're still going to get a signal. It's I'm just very impressed with it.
I'm really big on digging these whispers, where they call it, there's definitely something down there, but it's not enough to read the numbers up, so you have no idea. I dig those, and I've been really pleasantly surprised many times by doing that.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
The deep stuff is usually the old stuff.
Yeah, the real deep stuff is, yeah. And I dug a dime on, this was last spring on Daytona Beach. It must have been 26, 27 inches deep. And I was using the 9-inch coil. I didn't have my 11-inch coil at that time.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was a whisper. And then, boy, I took one scoop and started banging. So, it's very sensitive. I like the machine a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah, and you can do a lot with it too. You can customize it for the way you want to hunt. So
Yeah,
it's very customizable for sure.
yeah. We got Philip using his Deus too.
Yes, I like it, and I know they've got the 13-inch foil coming out now. I don't have that in stock yet, but it will be soon. I do have the spare 11-inch foil. Somebody needed that if they just bought the 9-inch version. I do have the 11-inch foil available now. But all those accessories are starting to roll in for the Deus too. Yes.
Yeah, well, we do have a question from Ricky T. It's Rick Tumbleson, and you met him, Terry, when we were all together down in Sebastian at our little thing we had. He wants to know how you're doing after your surgery.
I can eat now. I had out to the side, but they cut my throat to get into it. They couldn't go down my throat. They had to have surgery, and it opened up again yesterday on the beach. I was bleeding out of my throat. Now it's been 2 months at least, since that surgery, and it just is not healing. But I can eat.
Well, ice cream's always good,
Oh yeah, I have our ice cream at night. I tell everybody, out there on the beach, I'm just digging steady, and I'm walking many miles. I'd be built like a Greek god if it wasn't for my wife's cooking. I mean, she's a
I
heck
had
of
the
a
same
cook.
problem. I was when I got married, I was 75 pounds lighter. So that say something about my
that was
health.
pre-COVID, Phil.
No, that had nothing to do with COVID.
When I got married, my wife weighed 145 pounds, and so did I. Now she's
Oh,
100 pounds, and the weight stayed in the family.
Hey, I had a comment from Michael Busy Bee Detecting, and he's thinking about getting a Legend. And I was going to say the Naka Legend is an awesome detector. And now they have, I think we have 4 different versions of it. So it's very price sensitive. That detector is for the value, for what you get for your money is just exceptional. So, and the build quality.
I've heard nothing but good about
Yes.
that.
The build quality is excellent too. So if he's thinking about that, this is a good time to get one. Let me tell you.
Yeah, with all the deals going on, you betcha.
For sure.
You betcha.
So Terry, how long are you down here for? When do you go back?
I go back about the middle of May.
Middle of May. So you've got a lot of months ahead of you for hunting for sure. And I know you're going to be looking for the full moons and the extreme tides. And I think it's just going to make the Treasure Coast ripe for some decent finds this year. You've got to be excited about that.
Yeah, when I was a cop, we used to say on the full moon that the crazies come out. They did. There was a lot of weird things that happened. And now when the full moon, I'm out there all the time. So where does that put me? But that full moon, that if you're going to plan a trip to the Treasure Coast, check the moon. You get on a full moon, the tide comes way up, it comes way out. You got twice the amount of beach you get.
Yeah.
Really makes a difference. And on these detectors, we're talking about the DSQ. It's a wonderful detector. And so is the Equinox. And so is the Legend. And, any one of those detectors will work. The key is reading.
We got a new thing though, Terry, for the Deus 2. I showed it to you earlier, but I'll show it again to everybody. Right here, and Phil has these in stock. And like we always say, if Phil doesn't have it in stock, you don't need it.
You don't need it.
There you go. That is from Dan's Lanyard. That is a lanyard he made specifically at my request for the Deus 2. And it is killer because you always worry about, that's one of the flaws, I think, with the Deus 2. You're worried about the remote control popping off. If you're, hunting in the beach, in the water, you worry about it, as well as in the woods and stuff like that, because the more you take it on and off, it's going to come on and off easier. So with this little puppy here, and Phil's got him in stock, works great. Just works absolutely great. And I can show everybody my Deus 2. Hopefully you'll be able to see it. But you see there how it works. It goes right in the bottom of the remote control, you see, and it goes down. It's got a little clip on it. So when you do want to take your remote control off, and it tethers right to your shaft. So if your remote control does pop off, you're not going to lose it, because that would be a, $800 loss there, Phil?
Yeah, it's a pricey loss there. And especially too, if you're a water hunter, you normally will have your waterproof headphones on and you'll be tied to it that way. But now with the new headphones that Deus just released, I forgot what they're called, the W6 XL. Those things are waterproof.
SA2 SL.
Yes. Yeah,
Right.
WS2 XL. Those are really nice headphones. I like it because it blocks all the sound out around you. And if you drop those in the water, they're waterproof. They're not going to get hurt. So if you're just shallow water hunting, those are perfect with the detector. And then, you want to have that lanyard on. So as it falls, it's not gone. Because I have with the Deus One, I've had people buy extra modules because they lost them in the woods hunting. So
Yeah.
something to keep in mind. You don't want to have that expense.
And you've got those lanyards for the Deus 2 in
I've
stock.
got them in stock, and I've got those headphones in stock. It's nice that the Deus products are starting to come in now. So it's an exciting time if you have a Deus 2 for sure.
So in my mind, just a small purchase of what, $18, $19 for that?
Yes.
And
Insurance
it
policy.
could save you $800. It's a great insurance policy.
Yes, it is for sure.
So,
And then when they purchase those, we put them in an envelope with our calendar, so they
That's
get a
right.
calendar too.
That's right. So I tell you what, let's do this, Mr. Myers. Let's have a word from our sponsor. When we come back and get ready, because we'll be giving away some goodies.
Awesome.
So, word from our sponsor. We'll be right back, everybody.
Hey friends, Phil Myers here from Myers Metal Detectors, and today I'm going to show you a really cool Christmas gift for your favorite metal detectorist. And if that's you, that's fine too. You could be your own favorite metal detectorist. That's the Excalibur shovel, and this is a Merlin version, which means you can take this apart. Let's say you're going on a hunting trip, you need to travel with it. There's 2 push pins, pops out. It's very durable. I don't think you'll find a finer shovel for metal detecting ever. And then this is the second head that you could put on the same shovel. So if you needed something that was smaller, working in somebody's yard, you don't want to go with your great big shovel. That is an awesome tool for metal detecting. Also, check out the Excalibur digger. It's none finer here. And then I had a good friend of mine who's an excellent leather worker, make some sheaths for them. This package is available on my website, myersdepot.com, or on eBay. I have it, Metal Detector Guru on eBay. So check them out, come in the shop, or purchase it online. Phil Myers for Myers Metal Detectors, 813-237-1939. Happy hunting and dig deeper.
That guy talks a lot.
He does. He does.
Hey,
Very distinguished, don't you think?
I wanted to say hi to Dan from Dan's Lanyard.
Yeah, he's
I
good.
just had to thank him for that bottle of maple syrup. That keeps me at a good weight of 250 pounds, that maple syrup.
One leg.
But it is very good. I have to say that.
Yes, it is. It is. And I have to say, too, that the quality of his lanyards, the regular lanyards for your pinpointer is second to none. And the Deus 2 lanyard is absolutely a groundbreaking thing, I think. It's
Yeah,
just
I got one of the lanyards right here. That's a cool product. I really like it. It's well made. I don't take my pinpointer on the beach. You take your pinpointer on the beach, Harry?
No, I don't. Today, I wish I would have had it. I'm digging some holes that are down about, when you get down, almost 2 feet, you got a pretty big hole. And it wouldn't pay it to have the pinpointer to find out which side the hole, because when you get down that deep, you've missed it,
Yeah.
But I normally don't, I move pretty fast. I dig and I'm gone. Dig with some of that, and I'm moving,
And it looks like the Key Day Kid is on there. I was showing off his shovels on that commercial, wasn't it?
Yep, that's Casey from Excalibur Shovels. He's out. He's fabricating shovels as we speak.
Yes,
And
just in time for Christmas.
yep, there's no better shovel on the planet, and that Merlin is just absolutely killer. There's been a lot of people that are going over across the pond. The Mumbles man got one after we got back, but Dan Graham and Mr. Grammar Time, I think he took his to England. He just got back from England, and you'll get to talk to him about it on Treasure Tales Thursday night. But it's just an outstanding product. There's none better made.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about being in this business. I get to see the best products ever. So,
That's right.
Yes, I do. So, and I get to try them out for sure. So, I guess it looks like we're doing a giveaway.
Yes, we are. We're doing 3 of them.
Okay, cool.
There'll be 3 winners. I've got the names picked, and you will get a book of your choice from Mr. Shannon. If you want to wait until the last book is out, which shouldn't be too much longer, should it, Terry?
No, I'm hoping, I expect to, once I get it formatted, I send it in, and then I ask after proof a couple times. We're talking, it should be done this month.
Okay, good. And well, if they choose that book, then they can wait and get it or whatever.
Most definitely, yep.
But we had, like we always do, there had to be a phrase that you used to enter for the prize tonight, and that was Terry Shannon is a legend, and indeed that is the case. So here's how it works. You know that you have to be a member of Treasure Talk YouTube, which I did check, and all the names that were drawn are indeed members. If you're not a member, I just go ahead and draw another name. Now, what you will get after I announce your name, you will have 3 minutes to text me at my phone number going across the bottom of the screen. Text me with your name and you are here. Then what you must do is you must send to treasuretalkshow@gmail.com your name, address, phone number, and the book that you want from Terry Shannon. So Phil, if you've got them all there except for the new one, if you would hold them up and call out the titles.
That's Treasure Coast by Terry Shannon. And then this is Metal Detecting Otter Tail by Terry Shannon. Boy, he's a famous author.
He is.
And Detecting the Treasure Coast, of course, by Terry Shannon.
Yep. And then there's a Surf and Turf by Terry Shannon.
Oh, I don't have that one. I didn't bring that. Darn it.
I've got it here somewhere. I
I'm
can't.
sorry. I was at the shop today, and Jeff has got it on YouTube. So
yeah. So, anyways, let's go ahead and do the drawing. So get your fingers ready. You'll have 3 minutes. So at 10 minutes till, I'll draw another names. So Delco Detecting, Moosini, and Brian King. You three are the winners. You got 3 minutes.
Hey, Moose, it's Moose in New York. It's not Moose in it.
No, it's like hey, I'm old. That's what it looks like to me. He forgives
I
me.
know.
What did he say?
It's Moose and Ninny.
Moose and Ninny?
Yeah, Moose and Ninny. But no, it's Moose in New York because I had sold him some stuff last week, I think, and we had a good chuckle about that.
Well,
because that's how I read it too, Jeff.
Well, I can say I'm old and I'm blind. And I'll tell you all a story while we wait. Terry, you can identify with this, I think. Anyway, the last time I was down in Tampa, I couldn't get my 11-inch coil to work because I thought I'd put it back in. And that's the other thing about the Deus 2 coils. When you put it in, Moose in New York.
Moose in New York.
Yeah, he's here. So we're waiting for the others. At any rate, we had a little dinner down there and I was complaining about it. So what does Grammar Time tell me? He says, you're blind. Take your phone, take a picture of it so you can make it. So that's what I did. And hey, I'd had it entered wrong. So as soon as I entered it right, bing, there we go.
Jeff, he actually said, you're blind as a bat. Take a picture of it and enlarge it with your cell phone so you can see it.
Yep, that's exactly what he said. And he was right. What can I tell you?
Because I was worried there was something wrong with the coil, but he said, no, there's nothing wrong with that coil. He has the wrong number typed in. And if you don't type the number in right, the serial number, you're not going to get anything. So,
I know.
Get some winners.
I got one of them. The other two haven't.
Well, they'll lose if they don't text
That's
in.
right. Delco Detecting. Okay, he texted. He's good.
So, Moose in New York.
Brian King. So we got. Well, time's up. So Let's go, Andrew T. If you are in the chat, you text and you get a book.
There's a question for Terry.
What is the question?
Oh, it's a long one.
Double D Diggs is asking, let's see, as a retired police officer, what skills did you carry over to metal detecting to make you a better detectorist?
I think what makes me a good detectorist is that I'm just tenacious. I just do not give up. You know, one more swing of that coil may do it. You know, and I love it. You know, I am so interested. I love it. It's just such a great hobby. And, you know, I think that you know that when you're interested and you love something, you're going to be good at it.
Yeah, I guess it's you just don't quit. And Double G is Gary Gross, and he was a retired police officer too. So, and he's exceptional detectorist because he's found a lot of cool stuff for sure. So he's like you, Terry. I guess he did take that over from being a police officer for sure.
Yeah, and especially now, I've been talking with Double G Diggs about his upcoming trip in the spring to England. And guess what he's got, Phil? He's got the Merlin, as you well know, because I think he bought it from you.
I hope so. I'm pretty sure he did.
Yep. So we were talking about the Merlin. He's got it. He's raring to go. Because he called me and asked me, any tips I could give him. And I said, the best thing you could do is take your own shovel, get a Merlin, call Phil, and you'll be happy that you did. Because the trips are fantastic. The shovels they provide are not. So.
Yeah, because they'll give you an inexpensive shovel that they probably have plenty of. So you want to take your best gear that you're used to using for sure.
That's right. That's right. So we got all three of the winners. Andrew T did text. So people, remember, if you want your book, send the email, treasuretalkshow@gmail.com, your name, address, phone number, and the book that you want. And I will get them to Terry, and he will get your books out to you. So congratulations, everybody.
If anything they want written in the book, tell them to include that. So, like if it's wanted to to fill or their name in there, tell me what they want in the book, and I'll make sure they get it.
Yep, and make sure that you've heard Terry. If you want it inscribed, tell him what you want him to say, and he'll write it in there. So you can't beat that with a major big stick.
Yeah.
I'm a great reader, and I've never had somebody sign my books. Boy, it's very popular. I'm surprised.
Another fellow from our Sebastian trip, Dan Graham. He was the big bald-headed one. Well, no, Rick Tumbleson's got hair. He said, "Find Gene some treasure, please."
Gene,
that wasn't Gene that sent that in. That was grammar time.
My favorite. I got to tell you a story that happened to me in the river this year. It just blew my mind. People always come up and said, "What have you found?" Or "What's the best thing you ever found?" And if you find something, you don't want to show anybody right there because they're going to say, "Well, what is that?" So I come up with the stock answers that I tell everybody. I said, "Well, if I don't find something pretty soon, my wife's going to wonder where I'm going." They laugh and I'm off the hook. I was in the river detecting this year, and this is a tubing river. People flew down the tubing river. And they're coming around a corner, and this lady hollered. She said, "What are you looking for?" And I said, "Jewelry. People lose their jewelry." And she said, what's the best thing you ever found?" And I come back with my stock answer. I said, "If I don't find something pretty soon, my wife's going to wonder where I'm going." And she looked at me and said, "Well, here, take mine." Took a ring off and gave it to me. And I was just stunned. And she's floating on, and my God, I found thousands of rings. I didn't want to take that lady's ring, but she's already gone. And it was a band. It was a gold plated over silver. So anyway, I have it with me down here on the treasure coach. And some young detectorist is going to find that ring. I'm going to pass it for her. Apparently, I look pretty pathetic in the river because she gave me a ring so my wife wouldn't be mad.
Well, there may be more to that story, Terry.
I think I'm.
No, what I mean is, there may have been trouble in her paradise. She says, "Well, I don't care about him. I'm giving my ring away."
I'm giving it away. Yes. Interesting for sure.
Ain't that the truth? That ain't the truth.
So Terry, you're in
Go ahead.
Melbourne. So how far away are you from the Treasure Coast? Or you?
About maybe I live right on the coast. We had a fifth wheel camper, and the waves would actually hit our camper. And I bought a brand new truck and a new camper. 2 years later, they were shot from us all there. So we just moved inland, not inland, but just into the trailer park. So we're, very, very close. I'd say 200 yards, maybe football feet away from the treasure.
So are you able to walk to the beach and start hunting? You don't have to drive then, right?
Yes, yes, that's right. And then my wife's a walker. She's walked over 300 miles. She just enjoys that. And she loves to walk on the beach. If we lived inland, I'd have to give her a ride to the beach, and then I'd have to pick her up at a certain time. And, once I'm into something, I'm not going to quit. So we bought right on the beach.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
nice.
like I said, my very first coin was found right out in front out here.
Yeah.
Just phenomenal.
Well, that makes it convenient for you because you can
Yeah.
hunt right close to home. That's awesome.
And one thing too, I'm very well known now. Books have really made a difference that way. So I get reports, like during the hurricane, I bet you I would get 15, 20 calls a day telling me what conditions were here, and that's really nice, and like when Jerry and I go out, I go one way, he goes the other way, and when we find a spot that looks promising, we'll call the other one, and then we team up.
Yeah.
So the big thing is the beach conditions, not where you're at, but what the beaches look like.
Right. Now, you're a member of the club there, right? Treasure Coast Club?
Yes, I am. Hmm.
Do the members of the club call each other and let them know what the conditions are?
Well, not everybody, but yes, a couple members of the club call me on a regular basis, and I will call. I've got friends that I will call and say, "Hey, this looks good," or something like that, and you kind of pay it forward. It's just a wonderful hobby. And I've got some friends out there that have joined the club. I taught a class this last year, and I think 7 people in that class. I went out and bought detectors, and I would rather have them find something than for me to find it. I mean, it would just please me if they do.
Yeah, because I've seen on the feed there, people are asking for your secret spots.
Yeah.
I hear that a lot. When somebody, when I often talk at the club meeting, and if I find something really good, the first question that everybody asks me is, "Where did you find it?" And my answer is, when you ask a guy like me where I found something, you're asking me to lie to you.
That's it exactly. You say it was on the beach.
Yeah, really, I have no trouble telling people where the good spots are. I resent it if I tell somebody and they try to beat me there the next morning. But it changes. It really changes. It can be very good, and it can be very good on one tide, and the very next tide it's slam shut.
Yeah, it's
The
nothing.
window of opportunity is very short. When you
Yeah.
get into some good stuff, stay there. I've made the mistake a couple times of digging. I'm digging targets and thinking someplace may be better, and it's always never worked out for me. Dig
Mm-mm.
it, stay there.
Okay.
No, it just doesn't. If it's not there, you keep going until, sooner or later you'll find something.
But really, when I say that anywhere along that treasure coast you can find Spanish coins, and you can, all the way from Vero Beach all the way up to Melbourne.
Yeah, for sure.
No, I haven't found any. I haven't hunted those beaches a lot. It seems like every time when I get a chance to go down there, it's just so pounded in with sand with the beach replenishment.
Well, the beach replenishment is gone. This is a year. If you're going to plan a trip to come to the Treasure Coast, this year should be a good year. I'm excited about it. I really am. It hasn't happened yet, but it's going to.
Well, good. Just tell Gene there'll be 2 more for dinner.
That'll be all right. We'd enjoy that.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
know you would.
Well, it looks like it's that hour went quick, very quick.
Oh yeah, it's gone. It's gone.
So we had 3 lucky winners, and hopefully we educated our members on hunting the treasure coast for sure.
Yeah. And we got to
Thank
give
you,
away
members, for tuning in too.
some very good books and some other good stuff. So that was great.
Yes. So Terry, once again, I want to thank you for coming on here with us and sharing your wisdom. We always like it when you're on the show with us.
So does everybody else. I get all kinds of requests. When's Terry coming back? When's Terry coming back? So,
And hopefully we'll get you at our metal detecting club again before you go back up. So that'll be first part of the year, I'm sure, because we won't have a meeting in December. We've got a meeting tomorrow night, but then December we just do a beach hunt, and then probably January or February we'll try to hopefully get you to come over.
Hey, I enjoy it. You can count on it.
Awesome, for sure. Well, thank you, Jocelyn, and thank you, Jeff, and thank you, Terry, for coming on here.
Well, thank you for having me. I have, it's a great time. It really is.
Yes, it is.
thanks everybody for watching with us tonight. Congratulations to the winners. Terry, it's always an extreme pleasure. Anytime we get to spend with you, whether it be here or in person, it enriches our lives. Everybody that's watching their life has been enriched tonight from just spending a little time with you. Make sure that you tell Jean we're thinking of her, and tell Jerry we said hello. And again, thank you so much for being our guest tonight. And everybody, tune in on Thursday night for Treasure Tales at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we will see you then. Terry, thanks again. Phil, thanks. Jocelyn, thank you for allowing Phil what do you call those? You-who's things? Or
No unholy.
no unholies. No unholies for
No
Phil.
unholies for me.
That's right.
Yeah,
See,
thanks for
that's
giving us the idea for the show. Yes.
you
But
know,
if I drank the unholy, I would be sleeping now.
that's
So,
right.
I get tall and good looking.
Phil drinks one unholy and he's going around, call me a taxi, and you're a taxi. So anyway, it's time for us to go out and
Very
let's go
honored to
get
be
an
here.
unholy.
yeah.
Let's go get an unholy. Thanks, everybody, and we will see you again soon. Thanks.
Good night now.
You guys, dig deeper. Happy hunting.